dudes and dudettes? How are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to The Mixer, the segment on this channel where I give you guys all sorts of detailed analysis from all walks of life. I'll talk about people, places, animals, food, sports, traveling, the whole 9 yards. Hence why it's called The Mixer, because I mix a lot of things up here in this playlist. And today, I'm going to be doing a video that is going to actually be the first of its kind ever. You know, you can consider this sort of like a spin-off to this video that I did, I think, last year sometime. You know, when I talked about all of my sports teams, you know, I watch 4 different sports and I support one team within that sport, you know, in each one of them, and in that video I reviewed what all of them are. So if you watch that video, then you're gonna know where this is going, and even if you haven't, you already do, because it's in the title and thumbnail, so there's no mystery about what I'm gonna be talking about today. You know, I thought it might be fun, since I've been doing a lot of hockey related content, you know, to give you guys like sort of like a full circle vlog here. This is going to be the final video related to hockey on my channel for a very long time, so I'm gonna try to go out with a bang and give you guys a little bit of an origin story of why I chose to support the Florida Panthers. You know, in case you're not a hockey fan, you should know that the Florida Panthers, based on the name alone, are from Florida. You know, I mean, that's kind of like literally in the name, you know, and they are actually from the Miami metropolitan area. And within the NHL, or the National Hockey League, they play in the Atlantic Division, within which they play in the Eastern Conference, you know. So now the thing is that the Florida Panthers were actually formed in 1993, and there is automatically right off the bat a very special connection to me, which is I was born in 92, 1 year before they were founded, you know, so we're both 90s kids. Look at that, man, it's awesome. And of course, in case you guys don't know my personal history, I actually went to live in the US when I was young, you know, I grew up there, so, and I actually moved there, I believe it was in 98 or 99, the same year, you know, that the Florida Panthers actually moved to a different arena. They actually played all of their games at the Miami Arena until 1998, where they moved to the Fly Live Arena, where we still are today, you know, which I think is really cool. You know, I think that it's like our own little stadium. So now they are actually based in Sunrise, Florida, and they're actually the most southernmost team in Florida, the most southernmost the southernmost team in the NHL, not Florida but the NHL. Okay, so, and also there is a bit of a nostalgic factor there. You know, I feel very, very attached to them, and it's really hard to explain until you just get into my head and try to figure out what's going on, which is what I'm going to try to do today, you know. Now, because I am a 90s kid and I did grow up in America, I always saw a lot of Florida Panthers merch all over the place, you know. It would be many years later until I understood what they were, what they represented, and even more so when I got into hockey, you know, and I discovered many more things about them, and I just feel very attached to them because of this, you know, because I always saw the Florida Panthers logo, the old style retro one, you know, everywhere in Florida when I was growing up, you know, sometimes in school with kids wearing it, I see it in commercials, in stores, on the street, you know. I saw that cougar, you know, it's actually a panther, but I always thought it was a cougar when I was a kid. I always saw that panther looking like a cougar, you know, that was actually very associated with my elementary school, which was Park Springs Elementary, which actually was a cougar, you know, that's why I kept confusing it. The mascot was a cougar, and it was really crazy, man, you know, because it seemed like they were the most popular and famous team in all of Broward County, where I spent pretty much all of my entire life there. So there was always this like a homey instinct, you know. It's very, very nostalgic to me, and I feel like the Florida Panthers, you know, I feel like there's such a strong attachment to them. Even before I liked hockey, I always associated them with home, you know, having grown up in that area there and always seeing them all over the place popping up, you know, very similar to the Miami Dolphins in the NFL, but that's going to be a video for another day. But essentially that's what it is, and I'm going to be giving you guys a few more tidbits of info, and also not just about me but about the Panthers themselves. But before that, why don't we take a look at some photos of the Florida Panthers, you know, franchise throughout the years. Oh, photography, how I love you. Oh, the registry of history in the making over the years, you know, it's freaking awesome. My beloved hockey team. Now, the thing with the Panthers is that, like I said before, but I will repeat again, just so the text can show up here on screen looking all fancy, you know, they play in the National Hockey League, which we all know is abbreviated to the NHL, you know. However, there are actually 2 other minor league affiliates. There are 2 other minor league teams affiliated with them, you know, and one of them them is actually from the American Hockey League or the AHL, and that would be the Florida Checkers. What is wrong with me today? The Charlotte Checkers. God dang it. Gotta get Florida out of my damn vocabulary today. And also they have an affiliate in the East Coast Hockey League, which is the ECHL, and they are the Florida Everblades. You know, not really too sure what they represent, you know, not sure how good they are in their respective leagues, but still, we are affiliated with them. And the Florida Panthers are a very successful team, really successful. You don't have to look it up, just take my word for it, you know. we won a lot of stuff. And just that none of them were Stanley Cups. We haven't won a single Stanley Cup, 0 Stanley Cups. But hey, we made it to the finals once in 1996, which we lost to the Colorado Avalanche. But hey, I mean, who's counting? You know, we don't really care, you know. Besides, the important thing is that in our inaugural season in 93-94, we established the record for the most points by an expansion team in an entire freaking league. You know, it was awesome, man. And we held that record until 2017-2018, the season where the Vegas Golden Knights surpassed us. But yeah, it's just, you know, at least we held it for a while, you know, and we have actually made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs 7 times, you know, but it wasn't enough to lift the damn trophy. And you know, we didn't even win a playoff series again until 2022, you know, but still, even though we're struggling to find playoff success, you know, we have amazing, you know, players and stuff, you know, like Alexander Barkov, you know, who's actually miles above the rest of the team. He's literally the best. He's the captain, and he recently broke the franchise record for most points, you know, so hey, we got that going for us. We are not completely useless though. Remember, we are a young team, you know, we are an early 90s franchise, you know, so we joined the NHL just not that long ago, so that's why we don't have too many titles, you know. But we do have at least one conference championship, which we won in 95-96, you know, so that was awesome, man. We're freaking awesome. We also have one President's Trophy, which we won recently in 2021-2022 with the help of Barkey, you know, it was awesome. And we have 3 freaking division championships, which we won in 2011 and 2012. That was awesome. Then we won again in 2015-2016, and then we won recently in 2021-2022. So hey, my team is awesome, okay? Your team sucks if you even have one. I don't care, you know, because our uniforms look so good, except for the new one. That I don't know, man. That our home and away uniforms were always traditionally white and red, you know, and sometimes we'll have the alternate ones like a dark blue, which looks really cool. I love those uniform schemes, but the one that we released recently in the current season, which was like this alternative retro one, which is like a light blue with yellow palm trees, that just, bro, it looks so fruity. It looks like something Adam Sandler would wear in one of his movies. I don't know. But he's a Boston Bruins fan as far as I know, so maybe it wasn't even the best idea to take the streams there. But anyway, so why don't we, you know, look at something else here, huh? Maybe I'll, how about I show you guys some goals, huh? While I collect my embarrassing thoughts here, you know? Let's take a look at some goals, man, by, I don't know, some random goals by Florida Panthers players throughout the years.
Lowry, Mellenby, and Barnes up front as they crash in behind the net. Feed the point. Jovanovski shot. Scores! Dave Lowry! And the Panthers have tied the series.
He's got Jokinen near him. He drops the puck off to Olli Jokinen. He fakes the shot. Now lets him go. He scores! From way off on the wing. A power play goal by the Finn.
It's Butler right back in. Feeds the open side. Hayes sends Peary up. Score! Brandon Peary from Jimmy Hayes. It's at Black. Up ahead for Hagee off the bench. Moving in for Hagee. Shooting. Save. Rebound for Hagee. Let's go home, baby! They win it in overtime. Carter for Hagee.
Yeah, and he scores! Yeah, man, I'm getting hyped up here, you know, from those goals, those freaking outs. Don't know if I used 3 or 4, probably a few, because I didn't want that section there to get too long, but still, hopefully you guys enjoyed it anyway, and hopefully I was able to get the right goals without any copyright issues, you know, because YouTube has been cracking down on that lately, you know. I can actually use copyright content, I just can't monetize it, you know, but sometimes depending on where it comes from, my video gets blocked, you know, either partially or fully, you know. It happened with the Sidney Crosby video, you know, like, I'm gonna randomly leave a link to it up here just because I want to, you know, it's related to hockey. That video is actually partially blocked. You know, you can't watch it if you live in Russia. I'm not even exaggerating. That's it. That's the only country that YouTube blocked that video in. Makes no difference to me at all right now, but still, let's hope that they don't block any more other stuff. But anyway, so now one of the things that really sparks the nostalgia for me is the original Florida Panthers logo, which had the leaping panther, you know. That was actually used from 1993 until 2016, you know, where they actually changed it to what we see today, you know, which is the Panthers head, you know, looking to the side and then the Florida logo written above it, you know. But there were a few variations too, because this panther was, I actually had a jersey. I'm pretty sure it showed up in the thumbnail, my dark blue jersey that actually had the panther, but they actually had a few alternatives, which is actually the same panther holding a broken hockey stick, for example, you know. It was really nice, very aggressive, but maybe they rebranded because of that, because that panther was very vicious, very scary looking if you're a kid, so maybe they wanted to make it a little bit more family friendly, but still, I love the design. Sometimes there will be like an oak tree, or oak tree, some pine trees and a beach and sun in the background, you know, to reflect that they are from Florida. So it's cool, man. I think it's awesome. And you know, like, even though the Panthers aren't very successful in the NHL right now, and historically they're not one of the biggest teams, you know, they are still up and coming, you know. Not every team is as old as like the Boston Bruins or the Montreal Canadiens or the Chicago Blackhawks, you know. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I believe, are also old, because no, they are probably the original 6. So, I mean, there are 2 more that I forgot, but no, the teams that were actually there in the NHL since the 1920s when the season was inaugurated, even the older teams, when the draft expanded in 1967, you know, there were more teams that came in, even they are more successful, but nobody can beat the Montreal Canadiens, for example, with their 24 freaking Stanley Cups, bro. It's freaking insane, you know. But the Panthers are still new, you know, they're still recent, and I wish we actually had more success, like, for example, I believe it was the Colorado Avalanche who won the last Stanley Cup. But the thing with the Avalanche is that they went to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times exactly in their entire history, and they won all 3, so 100% track record. But hey, I'm pretty confident that the Panthers can come back, you know, to the Stanley Cup, you know, as long as we just keep playing well. We have struggled to find playoff success, but still, let's just see what happens, you know. Our head coach is Paul Maurice. I like his work, you know, he's doing a pretty good job, so let's just see, you know, what's gonna happen, you know. I actually admit that I haven't really been following the NHL too much. I've been focusing more on NBA, but still, I do follow them on Twitter, you know. I like to see what's going on. I see the highlights and stuff, so, but I will hopefully start watching some games soon if I can just find the right subscription service that will stream them. But I will be there soon. One of my biggest dreams is to not only move back to America, or even just visit someday and actually see, you know, and see a game, you know, live at the freaking Fly Live Arena. That would be freaking insane, man. I would love to watch a hockey game, especially with my team, and just seeing that, the emotion that I see on TV and playing them, you know, in the NHL games. I always set the Panthers to my favorite team, you know, in the NHL games, you know. I did play as them in NHL 21, did not play as them in NHL 22. I'm gonna leave a link to that. I don't care. Here's a link to me playing as the Florida Panthers back in NHL 21 last year. Oh, so it's just the thing, man. But yes, the nostalgia. Who is calling me? It's my dad. Anyway, it's actually very well timed, because I was going to talk about that right now. My parents, you know, mostly my mom, you know, who bought me a lot of my clothes when I was a kid in America. She would buy me sometimes a lot of sports jerseys without really knowing what they were. She probably got them on sale or thought maybe they look good or something, you know. But the point is that at one point I had a Florida Panthers jersey with the Leaping Panther, you know. That it's very likely that I put that in the thumbnail somehow, you know. It's probably going to be me and showing you the photo, you know, like that or something. So you guys probably already saw it. I'm definitely going to figure out a way to put that in the thumbnail somehow. That is the one photo that I have that I could find of me wearing a Florida Panthers merch, you know. So I think I actually like that shirt a lot, because I like the Panther, although like I said earlier, I thought it was a cougar. So I really loved animals when I was a kid. So that's a little bit of the nostalgia factor as well, you know, associating the Panthers with that. I remember seeing that Leaping Panther all over the place, man. It was crazy, you know, because spending most of my time in South Florida, it's kind of impossible for you to not see the sports franchises, you know, just like the Miami Dolphins logo. I saw that dolphin everywhere. I probably had hats and shirts of the team, you know, so without knowing what it was. I didn't really like sports back then at all, you know, not at all. I don't know why, because today I'm so in love with them, but when I was a kid, I was more about the video games and other stuff, cartoons and whatnot, dinosaurs, so was never that big of a sports nut in America, which is ironic because, I mean, it's the place that has the best sports, you know, but still, that's a little bit of the history there. I'm not entirely sure where this video was going halfway through it. I will be honest, like, I had the idea in my head, hey, I'm gonna talk about the Panthers and stuff, you know, then I opened up their history here online, you know, got some information to make a little script, and so it kind of became a pseudo personal history and team history, you know. So, and I put in the photos, the videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, but I'm out of things to say. I don't know what else to say, man. You know, that's a little bit of why I support the Panthers, you know, because of that nostalgic factor. When I started to follow hockey, I remember that and I said, this is the perfect team for me to support, you know. It's different with, you know, the Lakers and the Dolphins, you know. I already talked about that in other videos, you know, in that other videos, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Here, I just want to focus on the Panthers. I may definitely do more of these in the future, you know. Like I'm gonna be playing Madden at some point this year, Madden NFL 22, so maybe I'll talk about why I support the Miami Dolphins, you know. Whenever I do another playlist of NBA games, you know, like NBA 2K23, very likely I'll talk about why I support the Lakers, you know. When I do FIFA, I'll talk about why I support Fluminense, you know, because I actually like it. I think it's a good idea, you know, to give you guys a little bit more background about me, and also to split them up in different videos so I don't run out of ideas so quickly. But that's it, guys. That's essentially it. Let me know if you enjoy hockey, if you have a team that you support and why you support them, you know. Tell me your origin story, you know. Well, maybe you have a parent, usually your father likes the sport and he kind of made you support the team, you know. With me, it was completely by myself. I just made the decision on my own. So, but I will definitely one day, you know, when I have a kid, whether it's a boy or girl, I'm going to try to make them like hockey, and if they do, they will support the same team as their old man. That's going to be awesome. And that's it, guys. So if you happen to like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, hit the notification bell too so you can know exactly what time I upload. And remember, it's never too late to become a Panther. Very majestic, beautiful, and powerful animal in nature. So you should definitely support the Florida Panthers because of that. Yeah, it's all good, guys. Anyway, this is Chazzy signing out for now. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.